Hello everyone, this is Threefold back again for another segment of the Threefold Minutes, where today we'll talk about the brand new previews that just came out for Final Fantasy XVI. I am doing this fast because I don't have much time during the day anymore, but we're just gonna quickly go over what I quickly read in this certain moment of time. So hopefully it all makes sense by the time I make this video. Anyways, let's get straight into it. A lot of stuff just came out. A lot of journalists and YouTubers that had played it like a few weeks ago are finally coming out to explain everything they experienced when they played the game for the first time. So a lot of praise is going out there right now, a lot of good news, and a lot of like things that just sound really great. So starting with let's start with the story, I guess. So the part they played was mostly surrounding Clive in his younger years, where you learn about how wait so fast. Yeah, you learn about Clive in his early years, and it's a lot of tutorial, and the intro is actually very cutscene heavy. There's a lot of cutscenes because they're saying the story to what it will be later on. So that's happening, and it seems like the story is going to be really good. The main focus was the story, so I'm sure that whatever is going to come out of this game is going to be really impressive, and I can't wait to see it. There also is more details about the story, but I'm not going to get into them because they're very spoilish and I didn't fully read them anyways. But if you want to look into that, I'm sure you can find them if you look for it. After that, let's go straight into the gameplay. So gameplay seems pretty good. For one, the game runs in 60 FPS. There's a performance mode and a fidelity mode, which is 4K 30 frames per second. I think that's pretty good. A lot of the specifics of the gameplay, there's a lot of them, and I don't have the time to get into it right now, and I didn't have enough time to fully research it. But I definitely recommend to check out Bliss's video where he talked about his experience playing the game. He talked about a lot of in-depth stuff, and he talked about a certain feature that broke the game as well, that Yoshi P saw that may get removed by the time the game is out. But hey, definitely check that out. There's a lot to get into, you know, like there's so much stuff. I thought you could do it really fast, but it's just like but one thing that the reviewers really raved about were the icon fights and how expansive the icons felt, even comparing it to God of War and Shadow of the Colossus, saying that it kind of exceeded it in a way. Something new and fresh, and they were kind of surprised about by the time they got their hands on it instead of just watching. And I think that's really cool to have that sort of spectacle really give you a sense of the power behind the PlayStation 5 and what it's capable of, which goes into the fact of that, you know, when they made the game in terms of performance, that sometimes the frames get limited. For example, in the 60 frames per second mode, in certain cutscenes, the frames go down to around 40 frames per second in order to keep the right fidelity because of all the particles and all the different animations going on. Like, since it's 40 frames per second, around that range shouldn't be too bad, but it might be slightly noticeable. But it's just a lot of good stuff getting out about the game right now, comparing it to the old days of the PS2 in terms of how it feels, and just like the overall vibe. It really feels like a whole new direction with Final Fantasy. Like they take it to a whole other level. Like they kind of, it's just in terms of the risks and all the different things they try, it just feels so unusual yet so unique and still so familiar. I think that's really nice. Especially since it seems like they're really taking advantage of that M rating, you know? Like, I'm quite curious to see how far they take it. One complaint I did see was how, in terms of how music transitions, when you get into a fight, it goes into the battle music, but when it goes back into the main world music, it also goes, it restarts the world theme instead of continuing off to where you were hearing the theme last. For example, in Final Fantasy VII Remake, after listening to the music after a boss fight, you go straight into where you were in the world theme music, and it kind of added to the seamless design of the game. So it might be a little jarring at first, but you get used to it. I play games that have that issue, and I got used to it, but it's just kind of like throws you off a bit, so. But yeah, the first boss you face as Clive in his early years really impressed people. It was fighting the Malboro, I think. I think that's what they said. It might not have been the Malboro, but it was some boss, and it was like really neat. And that the combat is very addicting, and you just want to keep trying different things, experiment to play the way you play best. and I think that would be really cool to play with. And I think I would like to, experiment with different combos, especially since I'm not the best with combos. So I'm like learning how to remember certain buttons, like press 5, press square 5 times, too hard. I pressed it 4 times and then press triangle and miss my combos. They're seeing a lot of depth on Clive's part in terms of his character. They are very interested to see how he expands later in the story, especially since his introduction is really dark and yet it's very like interesting and engaging, and you kind of just relate to him on a certain level, a personal level, especially after some of the story details I heard. I think Clive is going to end up being a great character and quite possibly one of the best characters in the series. I may have missed a lot of things. There's a lot I'm trying to remember. Like, I thought I would be able to do this easily. Sorry if the video's a little bit messy. I'm trying to go for something that I can make faster. So I apologize if it's a little out of everywhere and I'm like, or like, so yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry if I do that. I'm trying, okay? But in conclusion, Final Fantasy 16 seems like it's going to revolutionize the series and make it into something new, and also bring in new fans, the same way Final Fantasy 7 Remake did for me. I played Final Fantasy 15, but it didn't make the first best impression for me. But 7 Remake it did. And I hope 16 is going to be the game that really show people what Final Fantasy can be and how engaging and interesting the stories can be. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this game. What can I say? I got Zelda and I'm very excited about that, but I'm still very excited for this game. I can't wait to play it, and I can't wait to make videos on it especially. Anyways, this has been a Threefold Minute. I hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos, especially if you'd like to see more on Final Fantasy in general. And hopefully Final Fantasy IX Remake is revealed on Wednesday, because you'll definitely see videos on that. Anyways, this has been Threefold, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.